You love the Rebbe to learn Hilchot Beis Abchira in the days of Ben HaMitzorim. We have the honor today to have in Yoman, Shliach, Doval, especially Ainikum from Rabbi Zushe. I remember when the Rebbe came out with the Mifza, learning Hilchot Beis Abchira in Eretz Yisrael. We heard, when we were in New York, we heard in Eretz Yisrael to Kerzach Havel, Zushe, to bring ganz Eretz Yisrael to make sure that in every place it should be Hilchot Beis Abchira. It sounds like today there was Base America Sirei Chabad. Sie wird ein Mensch, der überkehrt die ganze Welt. So sein Schuppen, ein Seiden, erzählen uns was du in die Welt eichert. Rav Chossi, der Rav Rafael, ווילימובסקי. Also the Rav, the Rebbe, everybody should give Zoke with Tzivu, should give Zoke with Tzivu. Rav ווילימובסקי, give us some news.
Okay, thank you very much for the introduction. Okay, so the Rambam Hilchos Beis Abchira, first Perek. The Rambam writes, "Ein boinen es mikdash balayla." Yeah, you're not supposed to build a bit shenemer. The pasuk says, "B'yoyim hokim es hamishkan, b'yoyim hakimin v'loy balayla." Okay, so this is from the Gemara in Masechta Shavuos. The Gemara says exactly that idea that build a beis hamikdash. Ein boinen beis hamikdash balayla. Ein bin beis hamikdash balayla. Domer Abaye menayim sheim bin beis hamikdash balayla. Shnemer b'yoyim hokim es hamishkan, b'yoyim hakim balayla makimay. Yeah, so Tosfos asks over there, we have the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah. The Gemara says, Daf Lamed, that Yom Hanef Kuli Aser, that why is the whole day in Tezvav B'Nissen you're not allowed to have the Chadash, because maybe the Beis Mikdash will be built. And the Gemara says over there that even the Belayla. Yeah, one of the ways the Gemara says Azat Kimta is that the Beis Hamikdash will be built by night and already have the Beis Hamikdash built to ready to bring the carbon mincha, the carbon noimer. The Chayra from the Gemara over here it says that you're not allowed to build the Beis Hamikdash. You're not supposed to build the Beis Hamikdash by night. So Tosfos says Shloimar that the Beis Hamikdash l'hainu Beis Hamikdash l'asid sh'asam le'elov b'dei shemayim. Pasuk says the Chsiv Migdash Hashem koinenu yodecha. The Eibish's hands are going to make the Beis Hamikdash. Therefore, it's not a question. Fine. So that's what Tosfos says. But regarding this Indian, so back to the Rambam. The Rambam continues, V'akol v'yitzkin v'alis ha'shachar tisik echavim, V'akol chayavim livnis v'lisoid v'atzomam v'meinam, Anashim v'nashim, k'migdash ha'midbar. Mevatim t'nigash b'yisrabim l'binyan, v'mbinyan b'yismigdash doiches yamtif. Yeah, but the Rambam says, the next thing the Rambam says is that women, Nashim, are chayav also to build a Beis Hamikdash. Now the Mefarshim ask, a lot of the Mefarshim ask, the Rambam just said that Ein Bein Beis Hamikdash Balayla. He says only by day, so it's a mitzvah say Shazman Grama. So why do we say right after that the Nashim are chayiv? We know that the famous klal that Nashim are not chayiv, mitzvah say Shazman Grama. So how are you mechayiv the woman to build the Beis Hamikdash? Right, so there's a few answers given in the Achrenim. The Tzafas Paneach, the Ragat Shavar brings down an interesting vart. He says that regarding the binyan Beis Hamikdash, there's two inyanim, right? The famous, it's really, we usually know this in the Machlokes, the Rambam and the Ramban. What's the main ikar of the Beis Hamikdash? Is it have a makim livnis to have karbanis, the yismuchan makirvim karbanis, and the Ramban's shit is that it's the ikar inyan of the Beis Hamikdash is to have hashras hashchina. And the Tzafas Paneach, there's Mechadish, Ragat Shav is Mechadish, that be'emes there's two Gdarim in the Inyan of Beis Hamikdash, there's two Dinim. And he's Mechadish based on a vart based on the Gemara Masechta Zvachim. The Gemara says, Masechta Zvachim Daf Mem, that if the roof of the Heichel was taken down, was nifchas, whatever, it broke, it fell, so then the halacha is you're not allowed to be mazah, you're not allowed to do any of the spritzing the blood. And the Mefarshim actually say it's not just that, but any aveda you're not allowed to do if the Beis Hamikdash does not stand, if the roof is not there. And the Ragat Shav is medayik that dafke mitzad the inyan of karbanis you're not allowed to do, but the etzem kedusha of the Beis Hamikdash is still there. The kedusha of the Beis Hamikdash is still there, even though you're not allowed to bring makav karbanis. He says that there's two inyan in the Beis Hamikdash. There's ein din in the Beis Hamikdash is the fact that it's a place where you have to do karbanis, you have to bring karbanis, and that has one gather. And the second gather is the inyan of hashras hashchina. And that Indian is always Kayam. And he says that's also the difference. He says based on these two Gedarim of the Beis Hamikdash, he says that's how also we can explain why based the Indian of where the Gemara in Shavuos says that you're not allowed to build a Beis Hamikdash by night, but Yoyim Hakum is a Mishkan v'loy b'layla. That's talking about to make the Beis Hamikdash an Indian of a place of kedusha, the gather of the Beis Hamikdash to make it a place of a Makom Hashras HaShechina. That could be done only by day, not by night. Mashenki in the Indian that you're taking the Beis Hamikdash and you're making a place of Karbanis, which is a later stage. That's what he says. I think so. That has to be done. That can be done even by day, even by night, right? And al pizeh, I don't know if he answers over there, but al pizeh we can understand the difference if it's b'yoyim u'b'layla. That even though it's mitzvah seisha zman grama, but that's only regarding the inyan of the making the Beis Hamikdash hamakom shechina. But mitzad the inyan of bringing karbanis, that can be done also by night. And mitzad that gather the Beis Hamikdash, that could also be done inside the woman, from the woman's perspective. Another vart which is brought down is also from the Ragat Shavar. Maybe it's connected. You can answer the same question: is what's the mitzvah of binyan Beis Hamikdash? Right? Is it a mitzvah? Yeah, the famous the way that the Chakira, a lot of times we find the Ragat Shavar. Is it a mitzvah that there should be a Beis Hamikdash? Or there's a mitzvah that the Beis Hamikdash should be built, right? The mitzvah to make the Beis Hamikdash, live in this Beis Hamikdash, or the mitzvah that should be a Beis Hamikdash, right? And the Ragat Shavar says actually there's an afkaminis he brings, and he brings a proof. One afkaminis he says is now we can understand why you're not mevakal tenekis of the binyan Beis Hamikdash, right? Because since the mitzvah is to have the Beis, he says he's mitzvah to say that the mitzvah is to have the Beis Hamikdash, not to build it. That's why tenekis Beis Rabban are not chayiv to build it. Tenekis to build it. Another thing he answers is that we see, he brings a psak in the Rambam. The Rambam says that for the chinuch of the Beis Hamikdash, to mechanech the Beis Hamikdash, that could be is deiche Shabbos, is deiche Yom Tif. Over here he says that in binyan Beis Hamikdash deiche Yom Tif. What's the difference? Why chinuch is deiche Yom Tif and building is not? Because the mitzvah is not the building. The mitzvah is to have the Beis Hamikdash. So chinuch is actually making the Beis Hamikdash to have it. It's making the Mikdash. It's making it. That's when it becomes the Beis Hamikdash. That's why it's Deicha Yom Tif. The building is not the mitzvah, and therefore it's not Deicha Yom Tif. And he's also medayik from the beginning of the. He says there's two places that Rambam says this mitzvah to build the Beis Hamikdash. Over here in Hilchos Beis Hamikdash in the beginning, mitzvah say las is bayis la Hashem, and in Hilchos Malachim he says also that sholosh mitzvahs mitzvah Yisrael when they came into Eretz Yisrael, hachazar shal malach, making a mini melech, and the lashon Rambam uses there is livnis Beis Hamikdash to build. Right, so it's a different lashon. Over here he says lasois, and over there he says livnis. Right, so he's hishtalt on that dik, and he says that from the lashon lasois, not from lashon it's not Indian of making it, which is lashon binyan, which you have to understand why over there Hilchos Malachim uses lashon binyan, but it's lasois, it's to have it, right? So I was thinking, maybe you could say that's also the answer why it's not a mitzvah say shazman grama to do it by night, because according to the way we're understanding now, the mitzvah is not to build it, mitzvah is to have it, right? So it's not there's a mitzvah to build it by day or not a mitzvah to build it by night. It's just a gather in the halacha of building the Beis Hamikdash. The mitzvah is to have the Beis Hamikdash. Elamai, the way to get it to hechsher is dafke by day and not by night. Yeah, how long do you have left?
40 minutes.
Another answer which the Mefarshim say regarding the question of mitzvah seisha azman grama, she'ein azman grama, is that regarding the ikir habinyan, there's taka. That's the woman wearing just like with the midbar, right? The Rambam says that it was just like chayiv akol chayiv listed a nation can migdash hamidbar, right? So I saw that some people say that the woman had to, just like with the midbar they gave, they were helping with the tfias izim. It wasn't the actual building. So al pizeh you could say that they're not actually going to go and start putting the bricks and everything. It was the hechsher, the stuff which come before. When, for example, putting up the bricks, right? So that's something which can be done by day. Fixing doing the hechsher, but the actual building has to be done v'dafke by day. By night, you can do the stuff which are pre preparation for the building itself. Yeah, so should have Beis Hamikdash.
Right after my Mishkan, there will be a Siyum Masechet.